Hello and welcome back everybody to our Moneyball series with Paris FC. It has been pretty good off camera in the recovery period since the earlier part of the season. It's been pretty good, haven't we? We had a really poor start. If you look at like the top part there, that downwards until about the Barcelona game. But then since then, we haven't lost. Played really, really well. Done really, really good stuff all the way through. And we've got a dilemma right now. So I brought you back at the start of January rather than the middle because I had an offer for Bayer of 37.5 million all up front from Leipzig. Now, Bayer's really good, but I've already got a situation where I think him, Ray Barbosa, are all top players. Not Novakovic, sorry, Dimitrovic. They could all play on the right-hand side and be really good players. And probably so could Conte, like on the wing. So I'm not entirely sure if I need him. Like, he's playing really well, but I think we could still get the stats out of him. I think if somebody else plays in his role, I think that role is the one that gets the most goals, the most assists from the wide players. Everybody apart from the striker, basically, right? I've got Fabio Luis that I'm trying to get back into the team. He's been playing up front and he's been scoring, actually, as well. So there's him to try and factor in. There's quite a few players to factor in. So I think I'm going to sell him. But if I do, we need to find a replacement, at least in January, and see if there's anybody else we could bring in, apart from the players that we've already got, which are fine. But if we can find somebody else, that'd be nice as well. And Gutierrez had an offer for 16 million all up front, considering he was worth like 4 million last summer. I think I have to cash in on that. He's definitely not worth that when you consider that my backup left back, Breenberg, there's not much between the two other players. So I'd rather sell him for 16, bring in either a backup for Breenberg for less money, or bring in another starter that's going to cost slightly more, but much younger, and a new gen potentially, right? So that's the current dilemma. In terms of left back, there's only been one player that I've even looked at that seemed like they could be decent, and he is... Oh, do you know what? It was this player right here, Alban, but he's actually right-footed. So that ends that. I don't want a right-footed player in that position. Okay, so we don't have a left-back replacement at all. Okay, so we don't actually have a replacement at left-back at all, so I'm actually going to have to go back and search there again before we move on to the wingers. Okay, so we've got Dorrit Renken here from Rosenborg. Now, he could be half decent. He is a more solid defensive fullback with an 80% tackle win ratio, which is good. Interceptions per 90 of 3.5 of that is also pretty good. Head on ratio 61%, it's not great, to be honest. And his dribbles per 90 isn't great, but his cross completion is pretty high. So, yeah, probably not quite ready. Would be the backup, definitely. But we're going to scout him and see what the scouts come back with. Looking okay there. Okay, Ricardo Ventura here. He has got 18 starts in the Portuguese league. I basically had to cut down all the stats just to see who's available, then like manually do it because nobody's appearing earlier. I actually spent some time before this episode started looking at left backs because I'd already offered out Gutierrez and I couldn't find anybody. So Ricardo Ventura, he's got a dribbles per 90 of 1.94, a bit lower than what we're looking for, but it's not the lowest. It could be the team, obviously. Open play key passes per 90 is above 1, that's good. Tackle win ratio is pretty high. Head on ratio 69%, that's fine as well. Blocks per interceptions per 90, 2.94. Again, slightly lower than a lot of things there, but he'd be okay as a backup player. And yeah, it looks like he could be a decent option. We're going to scout him in any case. Again, using his stats, though, and applying them to the league that he's in is what's important here, because he's a pretty good player playing in a decent league by the looks of it. Okay, that'll do for now. Let's have a look at some wingers, see what we can get here for Bayer's replacement. Right, I like the look of this guy here, Philip or Kepja. Let's go with that. 21 starts, 10 goals, 2 assists, 3.29 dribbles per 90, cross completion percentage of 11, which is a bit low, it's okay. Key passes per 90, 1.34, that's pretty good. Progressive passes above 2, we like that if that's possible. Conversion ratio of 19%, and that's always a problem with our wingers, isn't it? Is having them have good conversion ratio. Shot on target ratio of 48%. I think he's the one. Like, he'd come in as probably a squad player, but he'd fit in as a good squad player and probably a very cheap alternative to Bayer. Maybe move one of the current squad players, like maybe Ray or somebody like that would go as a starter, as it were. But he's injured for 3 to 6 weeks, but he looks quite good. Yeah, let's give him a scout. There has been 1 or 2 other players that I've also scouted, but I'm not really set enough on them to show them to you. There's no point, unless I do happen to want to sign them afterwards. But I'll obviously show you them if I do end up signing them. Okay, I just had to put a bid on this guy straight away. So Willie Ketterman here, he has got a 3.09 in dribbles per 90. Cross completion is terrible, but that's obviously very high. That's the first thing that's important. Shot on target ratio, 35%. Conversion rate 10%, that's quite low. Key passes, progressive passes is okay. He's struggling in these areas, but he's very good at dribbles per 90. And he's got a release clause of 6.25 million. He had an unbelievable amount of assists in the league below, or the whatever league the Hoffenheim B team play in. And he did it again there. I have a feeling he could be quite good. I mean, the only reason he stood out to me is he was top of the list on 3.09 of dribbles per 90 in a team that's 13th in the Bundesliga, so not a great side. So you can factor in that some of this could be down because he's having to rush his chances because they don't get very many, or he just doesn't get them at all. So quite interesting. Right, I don't really find too many players other than that, so that's going to do for the searching for now. I don't think I'm going to sell anybody else. Maybe Conti. I do like Conti. He's a good backup CDM or a starting CDM and a backup winger. He's a good utility player. I mean that as in he's really effective. When he starts, I don't have to worry. Like, he could probably start, to be honest. What do I think of him? I still think he's quick. Oh, he's got acceleration as well, hasn't he? And just big matches. So I probably should give him a chance in the first team, shouldn't I? Yeah, I'm going to sell by 100%. I'm going to sell them both, I think, if I can get a left back, because I think it's the right time to sell him. Well, I've got, worst case scenario, Conti moves up. I could maybe improve my pivot players. I think it's a slight weakness of the side, but yeah. Anyway, I'll see you in a few weeks then, and I'll see what happens. I don't know when you're going to come back with me, because it'll depend on the transfers, but I'll see you in a little bit during January at some point. Okay, a couple of things to bring to you right now. One is going to be the Champions League draw and a couple of transfers to update you on. So we did sell Gutierrez for £16 million. Bought him for 6.5, sold him for 16, and he was part of the first trophy win, the first winning game against PSG in the Paris Derby, part of a really big part of our history, and he goes with our thanks, really. It was a good financial deal for us. His valuation had outgrown his statistical outputs. So yeah, he now leaves us and goes to Anderlecht for £16 million. We sold Bayer. Bayer goes for £37.5 million after drawing for 10.5 a few years ago. Absolute legend, playing very well this season. And in a second, you're going to see why this may have been a bit of an unnecessary risk for this season, because I don't know if we've really replaced him. The thing is, right, to get Bagchi and Fabio Luis in the same team, one of them has to play either wide or as the 10. So in that sense, Bayer would have been likely the player to move out anyway. So Bayer would have gone to the bench. But Bayer on the bench is, one, a good player off the bench, and two, if there's an injury, him starting isn't a big deal at all. So, yeah, that was the dilemma. So we decided to sell him. Who did we bring in? So with that money and a bit to spare, first of all, we've got this lad here, Rosas Quintero. Now, he's been bought and sent straight back to his previous club. We bought him for £2 million. He'll go back out on loan because he's non-EU, and he'll stay there for the rest of the season. And we'll review this situation in the summer and see if he's going to be ready, or if he goes back out on loan for another year. Maybe long term, he can become a starter for us. Looks really good. One cap for Colombia already. Only £2 million up front. So really, really good. Right-footed, but a strong left foot. Perfect. Then Willie Ketman comes in. Now, Willie Ketman is left-footed, which is my first problem with him. But he comes in as a youngster, played one, scored one for us actually a second ago, right off camera. And yeah, he's really just a cheap player that could be worth a lot more. And he currently is already. He's worth 20 to 29. I don't think he's going to be a starting player. He's going to be a player off the bench, maybe somebody we can mould into a good player. And my guess is that after a year or so being at the club, he isn't quite good enough to get into the first team, and then we sell him for a profit. That isn't why I bought him. I bought him because I think his stats are really good for this year. Like, his average rating's pretty good for a player on the wing in a team that isn't playing too well, and he's only got 1 goal and 2 assists. So his average rating's pretty good because he doesn't get any goals or assists to boost up and artificially inflate his average rating, right? So that's pretty good. So that is really impressive stuff from him. Ricardo Ventura is the left back that we bought. I think he's going to be really, really good, actually, because after we were going in for him, a couple of clubs that they're interested, like big clubs. So he comes in as a backup initially, just to ease him into the squad, but good personality, looks very, very good. Isn't too short for a fullback or poor in the air, which is always good as well. And I think probably will beat Rainy Broenberg to the starting role. But until we start dropping points, I don't want to change and bring anybody new in if I can avoid that. But I think he's going to be a really solid player, and him not being non-EU helps out a great deal. Aubrey de Wilde comes in for a total of £12.25 million. Considering his valuation hasn't changed, this may have been a bit of a slight overpayment. Not that we'll lose much money on him, but won't make much of a profit. The reason he was brought in is he had very good pivot type stats, and him being in the club allows me to use Conti further forwards almost as a base, right? If everybody's fit, I can use Conti as a pivot. If I get 2 injuries and that's sort of like front 3 behind the striker, I can move Conti up, and then De Wilde should give me an extra player who can play CDM at a good level and be a solid, dependable option in there without me having to worry too much. So he's a really good signing in that sense. Had really good stats, and has been a starting player for 2 years now in the Dutch league. So we'll see how he gets on. Last but not least, Flip Kepcher. Now, we looked at him already. Looked like a pretty good player for the wide areas. £5.5 million, pretty effective in the Croatian First League. That is the top division, by the way. And he played for the best team in the top division as well. So Could be a really good player, could be slightly overrated. We aren't too sure yet, but we're going to find out. A good solid backup winger for the rest of the season should be good. These players aren't buyer, but we had to do something, I think. And yeah, from the aggregate, hopefully we're better off. Finances at the end of the transfer window are £44 million in the bank balance. The transfer debt is only £5.4 million. That's all there is. And lots of projections looking good for us going forwards. Okay, that is your team now for the rest of the season. Lots of strength in depth in terms of numbers. It's going to probably be Bagchi as a starting striker. He's just so effective. And Fabio Luis being the 10. I think that's how we're going to go as a start point. And then we use some of the other youngsters as backups. Conte's probably going to get deployed further forwards along with the Kepcha, but we'll see how it all plays out, of course. Now, the reason I said it might be a mistake to have sold Bayer isn't that I regretted those transfers in like a Moneyball sense. It's because of this. PSG have relentlessly dropped points off camera since we last met, really, properly. We are only 1 point off the top, and it's not even PSG, it's Rennes. And Monaco only 3 points behind us. Like, it's a really close thing. The only good thing is, we're definitely going to get top 4. Those top 4 sides are so far ahead of Lyon. We're going to be in the Champions League, but we're going to be in a title race. And should I have sold Bayer? Well, I sold him like 2 games before they dropped points. So I sold him, and then they lost 2 games in a row, which nobody would have expected. So there you are. Rennes is still undefeated, by the way, which is a slight concern for me. We didn't lose again. They've lost in the Champions League, which is good. Eventually, that's got to transition into some league matches, you'd think. Are they going to get through? I hope they do, actually. Yeah, they have. They're through. So Rennes are going to have at least 2 more games in the Champions League here as well, which is going to be interesting to see who they get. We have to play Rennes at home and PSG away. So the only downside is we still have to play PSG away, which is likely not to go in our favour. We might have to draw the game, but it's likely to be a defeat, so we have to factor that in. Do they play Rennes again? I don't think they do. They do not. Okay, with you now bang up to date with where we are at, let's get into the draw and see what we got in the Champions League. Here we go then. Rennes are going to play Benfica. Okay, that's a pretty winnable tie for them. Sturm Graz play Bayern. Roma play Liverpool. Copenhagen play Atletico Madrid. Besiktas play Paris FC. There we go. That's pretty good for us. I think if you win the game, both legs, you get like a combined total of nearly £15 million. I think you get 8 million-ish for the 2 games. That's really good for us. Some big games in there. That's quite impressive. And there you are. So, today's episode 4 games is going to be as follows. It's going to be the 2 games in the Champions League. And, actually, I'll tell you what. Let's play the first leg of the Champions League. If it looks like it's going to be pretty comfortable, we'll do Lyon and Nice. If it's close, we'll do the 2 games and Lyon and see how it goes, basically. So I'll play these 2 games off camera, and I'll join me back for the Champions League games. So I'll see you in a second for that. Come on, Paris FC. We're in a title race out of nowhere. Okay, welcome back. I have just lost a game off camera in the league. I'm absolutely furious about it, to be honest with you. It was so annoying. We battered them, couldn't score. And when I went for the game at 1-1, we conceded a winner for them. And they scored then again later on. So I'm a bit annoyed about that, if I'm honest. But we're going to play the game anyway against Besiktas in the first leg. Yeah. That'd be a team. It's going to be... I'm changing those 2 already. Let's go with Georgie in goal. Ventura, Okan, Helgason and Makano across the back. Zé Emery and Bagalo pivots. Fabio Luis is the 10. Ray Barbosa wide with Bagchi up front. This tie should be quite comfortable. As the manager says, expect to see better improvement. Yeah, I bloody do as well. So as things stand, Rennes are currently, I think, 1 point clear at the top of PSG, which is interesting. And they're still undefeated, of course, as well. Helgason plays out to Bagalo. Bagalo plays it straight to the team in white. That is not our team, and it's over the bar. I like it. Besiktas have the ball. They play it inside. We get that easy with Ventura to Georgie. Has time on the ball, plays it back to the left back. Left back's got time and space. I mean, what the fuck is Barbosa doing? Just getting marked and shoved around by the fullback. What is he doing? Fabio Luis is giving it away. We're playing so poorly early on here. Really struggling. And they're going to continue to attack. Now Makano wins it. Now Ray. Now he's got options ahead of him. He can release this to somebody. Goes to Ventura. Doesn't quite get there. We're going to recover this though. Rikichi still goes to the right hand side. Now we've got a nice little play over here. Ray gets it, heads it onto Makano, weirdly. He goes through. He's going to cut this across to somebody. Fabio Luis normally scores these kind of goals. And there he is right on the point. Oh, surely somebody's got to tap it in. This isn't referee puts his flag. I'm not sure what for. It could be offside. But Fabio Luis just, when they go wide, he seems to hold back better than anybody else does in that 10 roll. And it is a goal. He just sort of holds back. I mean, he doesn't normally head it. Normally he just volleys it in. He seems to hold back really well. And it's 1-0 to Paris FC. Going to take off Fabio Luis. I'm going to put on Kepcha, the new number 10 slash winger that we bought. Corner, Kepcha whips in the corner. Gets cleared away. Makano gets to the ball, loses it. They now counter on us, win it back yet again, lose it again. Scrappy stuff in the transitions here. Now we're going to see a full highlight build-up for them potentially. We could try and win it off from here, though. And they go backwards again. Are they going to build an attack here with Besiktas? They play it through. We could have won that, really. They're going to get a chance for this maybe here. They go to the right. 1v1. Go inside. They're going to continue their attack here. It's really slow stuff in the build-up play. We can't seem to get any pressure on the ball. We do now. Zemri finally wins it. Bagchi. He is left-footed. He's got to look for somebody else. Plays it into Ray. Ray, good first touch into Kepchi. He's through. He's going to score. He's got to surely score here. And then for no reason whatsoever, tries to dink it, and we don't get the goal. Okay, there's another highlight right before the changes made. I've just brought Conte on for Ray. Kepchi goes through, gets tackled. They look to counter us. Mikanu to Zaemri. Across to Ventura now. Gets the ball into Bagchi. Is he onside? I think he's onside, you know. It's going to be 2-0. What a move that was. Bagchi is so clinical in these situations. Did it in a game off camera where it was sort of cut back to him, and he took a shot a bit earlier than you'd like for your striker to take it in the highlight that it was, and he just banged it in top corner. Bagchi must have really good finishing. He just scores like low XG chances. I mean, that was a pretty good finish to the corner, 2-0. Here we go then, Ventura. Just made a load of changes to freshen up the side. Aykut plays it into, nobody doesn't quite get there. Bagalo's going to lose up the header. We're going to get to this. Helgason, Dimitrovic at right back now. Plays into Conte on the right-hand side. Plays the ball to Novakovic, who's definitely offside. This will not stand. Okay, late highlight on last 5 minutes for Besiktas. If they score a goal and it's 2-1, I might have to watch the second leg. If it stays 2-0, I think I'm going to skip it and watch the two league matches coming. I think they'll be slightly more important, more running on them. But if it's 3-0, definitely. Novakovic, Barbosa gets a chance. He goes through on goal. Is he going to shoot? He's going to score. That is going to do it. Yeah, this will be the end of this this tie, I think. I'll play the second leg off camera. We can watch two of the league matches. They have it 3-0 win for Paris FC. A really good win for us. And that ends the tie, definitely, I think, for us. Really good stuff. Probably play the backup team in the second leg to give everybody some minutes that's a backup player. Okay, that's going to do that. I'll see you in a few days for the Lyon game. Okay, here we go. Lyon at home. Let's get into the game, see how we get on. PSG won their game away from home. They did lose 4-0 to United in the Champions League, though, so they could be out of the Champions League, which means they've only got the league to focus on, which is a shame for us, I guess. And Rennes have just drawn. So Rennes have just dropped points. Could be a chance for us to leapfrog them, I think, in the league table if we win, which will make it really interesting going into the next couple of match days. And yeah, let's get straight into the game, see how we get on. No, so if we win, it'll only put us on 251, so we'll still be 2 points behind Rennes and 3 behind PSG. I just think we drop points too often out of absolutely nowhere. We're in good form, everybody's fresh, no reason to drop points. Like, I probably shouldn't have chased... Well, no, I have to chase the game. If we're going to win the league, it's going to come in a season where there's going to be times where we're drawing in matches, we go for it late on and we win. We have to be able to do that. So maybe my current go for it tactics isn't good enough to get us the goals that we need. Highlight. They threw the ball into Edouards. They're going to play it across us. We're going to win the ball here. Hopefully, Conte does. He gets to it now. Well, he didn't win it, but he got the ball afterwards. Ventura at left back makes a run, tries a couple of times to get it off into somebody else, and we don't really do well there at all, do we? And now we're a bit unbalanced as the attack develops, and they go in behind. Are we going to win this set? That guy's got to be offside. One of those two is definitely off. I don't know which one, but both of them look like they're off. Can make a change at left back because that looked pretty poor, and I think maybe Emery can come off as well, although he does do a pretty good job defensively. I want to see if we can get somebody else in that's left-footed like Aykut there. See if we can open up the pitch a little more with our passing. Fabulous, the free kick headed away. They're going to try and counter us here. We've got so many players. Surely we've got to win this ball here. Come on, somebody get onto it. McCann's on the wrong side of the pitch at this point, but he tries to put a couple of tackles in. They play back to the goalkeeper now. He's going to get across to his own side. Is he going to get there in time, though? Look at this. This is right where he should have been. And Bagalo's now out there trying to cover for him. Now he's been beaten. This is absolutely calamitous. This has been typical of this season a little bit. If we were to lose here, the one good thing is it will focus our minds onto other competitions because it would definitely end a league title race. If we win, it's going to be scrappy, but at least it keeps us mathematically in it. If we lose or draw this game at home, there's no chance. Lyon are playing terrible this year, by the way. They're like a bang mid-table team. Conte on the left-hand side plays it across goal. What a strike from Ray. Back in the goals, back at number 10. Scores to make it 1-0. Yeah, watch this again. What a strike this is from Ray on the first time finish. Ray makes his little movement late after the striker sort of dropped off. He's in there. I mean, I'd like him really to be further in there, but oh wow. Somebody was there to finish it. It was Ray, and it's 1-0. Fabulous gets the ball. Conte plays, tries to play Ray, doesn't quite get there. And Lyon are going to build their attack out against maybe they go short there. They're going to play out into the middle. They play into their striker. He's got another striker available if he wants him. That goes in behind. So, oh, is he onside? He goes through. And he scored. Is he onside is the question. I think he is, you know. I think that's 1-1. And it is. It's 1-1. Got a corner below, so whips it in towards the near post. It's going to be a penalty now. Are we going to score the winner with a penalty? Well, we think it's going to be one. Bit of drama towards the end of the game. I still don't think this tactic's really good enough for the penalty for getting the goal to win the game, but we won't be given a chance to score. It's a penalty. Babo's going to take it. Why is he taking it? He cannot. Well, thank God he scored the rebound. He cannot be on the list, surely. And there you have it, a 2-1 unconvincing win, to say the least, from Paris FC. But we do win the game. It does keep us in that sort of title race position, although not very convincing. Okay, I'm going to play the game against Besiktas off camera, and I'll see you back in a few days for the game against Nice away from home. That could be a tough one. They're 5th. Right, so I managed to beat Besiktas in the 2 legs. Drew 1-1 with them in the second leg. Let's see who we get now in the next round. View draw, start draw, overview. We are going to get Arsenal. Okay, that's interesting. And PSG are definitely out, so there you go. And so I remember the look of it. So it's only us left in France. And we get Arsenal. There we are. I've got to be honest, I really do hope some of these players that I've signed in January turn out to be quite useful for us. Otherwise, I feel like I made a big mistake, because we could probably have challenged a title maybe with Bayer. Could we have done? We'll never know, of course. Okay, so Ray, you're going to come out because you're suspended. Whenever I've played Dimitrovic on the right-hand side in right midfield, he's never done the business in recent games, but he's going to get another chance here on the right-hand side. And everybody else can stay exactly the same. We can put some extra players on the bench here from the reserves. So your team is going to be Georgie in goal. And we're going to go with Greenberg, Rikici, Helgeson, McCann across the back. Z Emery, Bagalo, pivots. Fabio Luis 10, Dimitrovic right. Barbosa left, Bagchi down the middle. Assistant manager says, got that impressed me, okay. If you boys want to be involved in the title race, you've got to win this game. I think you've messed it up anyway, but you definitely need to win this if you want a chance at all going forwards. As Nice are going to play around the back against us. They try to play across the pitch. They do successfully, as the left back goes forward for them. Plays it through in a dangerous area. Do we get this away? They're going to get a shot on goal. Edge of the area, and it's a goal. And it's 1-0 to Nice. I really do feel like that I want a proper number 10 in the squad. I'd love to be able to use Fabio Luis as the striker, drop Rikici to the bench, and play like a proper good number 10. I do feel like we've got one of those, and we've not had one of those since... Really, Adele's been the only one that I've thought is that player. Like, it's number 10... Traditional sort of like number 10 with a bit of pace, bit of acceleration, and is world class, or at least on the almost on that level. As they absolutely flap at the cross, it goes in back, she gets her, and it's 1-1. We get a bit lucky with that one. Okay, Rikici into Greenberg into Zé Emery, and we lose the ball. And they're going to counter on us. We're going to get it back though. Yeah, so Barbosa could be the one. If I had another winger, like, is Ray going to do the business on the left hand side on a consistent basis? I don't know. Like, Barbosa should be absolutely brilliant in the right slot. Fabio Luis goes through. Fabio Luis doesn't miss one-on-ones very often, and that is probably going to be onside just because it's Fabio Luis. I didn't actually see if he was close or not, but if it's him, he's probably onside, and he is onside. Fabio Luis is really, really good, I think. Like, his movement's good, his finishing's good, really good player, and yeah, wow time run, Fabio. Good lads, and that is going to be 2-1. Yeah, I'll see things going well. Whenever I've tried Barbosa on the right-hand side, he's never played the way that I would hope he would in that sort of wide slot. I mean, I could try Dimitrovic on the left. We could go with that. It's like Bayer used to get the advantage of having Barbosa on the left because he'd get so much attention. He'd still be able to do the basics of the role and then more because he's a brilliant player. Whereas if you put like an average player on that left-hand side, because in inverted winger, they can be a bit passive, I guess, at times. And that is going to be 2-2 right after half-time. Maybe Barbosa comes off here. I mean, we could maybe do this and then get Conti wide right. Let's go with that. Okay, highlight right before I was going to go to the attacking tactic or something anyway. I was going to change it maybe this time. It's going to be a highlight anyway. They're going to start off with the ball. They're going behind the trailway. Flicks it on, luckily, and Georgie's going to pick it up and play out from the back for us. Throws out to Rikici. Got plenty of time. Emery plays Fabio Luis. Takes a good touch out to Ketterman now on the left-hand side. He's scored a couple of goals for us since he's been in the squad. Emery back into Rikici. Back into Emery. Into Conti. Good patient build-up play. Into Ketterman again. He's left-footed. So he's going to play it across goal. Here's he. From across goal. Fabio Luis. And he should have scored. Corner for Nice. Whipped in towards the near post. Headed away. Can we go get pressure on the ball? Fabio Luis has it. He's going to drive away with the ball. He should have a lot of supporters coming now. There's a lot of players on attack duties. He surely will get some support. Ketterman into Breberg. He's got to play it back. He does to Ketterman. Goes wide. Plays it back to the centre-back. Of course, that's what we're trying to do here. I'm very attacking and direct play, high tempo. Trying to get a goal. De Wild has it. Goes through. Plays it to Conti. Has options. I don't know what on earth he's tried, but it's worked. And Ketterman scored. And I have no idea how it's happened, but it's 3-2. Yeah, again, Ketterman getting on the score sheet, looking pretty good at his finishing at the very least, which we did look for, wasn't it? That was what we were looking for. Wingers that could have a slightly better conversion rate. And we built up the attack again. Fabio Luis into Conti. He's got options ahead of him. Novakovic is onside. He's going to play it across goal now. Back to Conti. He shoots, and it's 4-2, and it's game over. And it's a good comeback victory for Paris FC. Well done, boys. Another highlight late on. Pablo has it, plays it to Codsey into DeWald. DeWald's going to take a touch into Fabio Luis. He's got runners going off him a little bit to the left. Oh, he's cleared to the right. Okay. They're going to build their attack. They might get a goal here. They're going to build an attack and get a chance. Diop goes through, plays it across the far post. Got to win that, we do. They're going to rebuild the attack. We haven't got enough players to get any pressure on the ball. Yeah, there's a spare player here. And now we can maybe win it. We could have maybe won it there, could we? We win it now, though. Dimitrovic, Okan, Conti, DeWald. Plays it across. That is a risky pass, but it's worked out. Okay, that wasn't very good. They go through and they miss the target. They have it 4-2 to Paris FC. Good result, that is. Not sure about the performance. I had to do a lot of work to make sure we won the game, but we won the game in the end. Okay, I'll just quickly continue on another day. So you got the last set of fixtures played with me. So it wasn't that I played the game and then you saw us where we were with a load of games in hand for everybody else. Everybody else has played their games now. Renner played their game. They drew at home to Lille. I think they're still undefeated. They are. They've got 15 wins and 9 draws. I mean, that's pretty impressive, I suppose. And yeah, we stay 3 points behind PSG. We have to play them away from home, and we've got a significantly worse goal difference. So not good in that sense. We're now above Rennes on goal difference. It's a really close title race in that sense. But yeah, we're definitely going to be in top 4. Definitely going to be in the Champions League next year. Not quite sure how the top race is going to play out. But that's going to conclude the episode. I think the next one seems very, very easy. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do Arsenal, both legs, and then we'll do Rennes. How about that? I think that's what we'll do. And then the one after will be Monaco, PSG, and then maybe a Champions League game if there's one in there, and then we'll just wing it from there. I think Arsenal, and Rennes next makes sense. Miss out the Monaco and Strasbourg games in the middle of next episode. That is going to do it. We are looking good. I'm actually really pleased with Ketman, by the way, that he scored 4 goals for the bench of 4 appearances. Maybe he's really good, and I'm just not giving him a chance. It's because he's left-footed, right? And every time he gets the ball, he does like a different movement to what everybody else would do. And I'm not sure if I like that or not, but he looks like he's been really effective off the bench. What is his... Let's have a look at his stats a second here. What's his like conversion ratio and stuff? Let's have a look. Winger, squad view, which is what he is, a winger for us. So dribbles per 90, 4.04. Very, very good considering it's not a winger role that he's playing in. Or it's an inverted winger, but not an actual winger, right? Cross completion's okay. Open play key passes per 90, 2.02. It's good. I mean, it's pretty good. Progressive passes per 90 is okay. Shot on target ratio, 63%. Conversion ratio, 50%. Now, small sample size. 1 start, 3 sub appearances. Not too much. That is good. He even can head the ball. Willie Ketman might be one of our best subs that we can bring on. If he ends up being a really big success, selling Bayer just to get him is already, I think, a positive because we're able to get multiple squad players, get squad strength in depth for losing Bayer, and then we can focus really on next summer. We need to re-sign a top-level number 10 or a top-level winger. It doesn't matter which. I can maneuver it around beyond that. But we need to sign somebody who's a top-level starting player, a bit like a Bayer, but a lot younger, and somebody with maybe more potential that we think. Yeah, so there you are. That is going to do it. I don't say this very often. The only time you ever see it is in the little end card, I think they call it. But yeah, if you're not subscribed, please do consider doing so. It really does mean a lot to me, and it allows me to see that people are liking what they're seeing and are coming back for the right reasons. So if you can, thank you. If not, no worries. Thank you for watching and watching all the videos in any case. And I'll see you all in the next one we play against Arsenal.